Right, sure guys. This is. I'm sure you've heard this car is having a slight misfire at idle, but when you're driving there's no misfire, so it's having an intermittent misfire, an engine light, and also I'm sure the EPC light will flash some other time. I don't know, I'm not sure, but I saw an engine light. So we're going to diagnose it together, what causes that misfire during idling. And I'd also like to talk to you about types of mechanics. I think we've got 4 types of mechanics. There's the lazy one. Also this lazy one, most of them, they are greedy. There's the lazy one, there's the greedy one, there's the hardworking one, and there's a smart one. Understand? So I stand to be corrected. You can just argue with me there in the comment section. Anyway, it's part of the idea. So the lazy one, you'll tell him that you've got a misfire on the vehicle, and he will do the guesswork. He will tell you, go buy coil packs. You buy the coil packs, the car still having the misfire. He will tell you to go buy injectors. The car will still have a misfire, but you still pay. So meaning this person is just guessing. He didn't diagnose the car, he just tells you to buy injectors. He doesn't diagnose the car, he just tells you to buy coil packs. And if he's lucky, it will be coil packs or it will be injectors, so the car will be fine. But in most cases, this guesswork doesn't work. You understand? But you will still pay. So on this one, the owner bought injectors. The car still has a misfire. The owner bought spark plugs. I think spark plugs and coil packs. The car still having a misfire, but I think it's still paid. That's what I'm trying to tell you here. Then we've got the greedy one. The greedy one is the same as this one. He doesn't diagnose. He just tells you to buy this and this and this. Then you buy and you still pay. And we've got the hardworking one. And you know who's that one is. The hardworking one. So yeah, the hardworking one will tell you, just give me time. I'll diagnose your car. Then I'll give you report and maybe a code on how much it will cost, all those things. So first, he will take your car, then diagnose it to check what causes the misfire, check the spark plugs, check the injectors, check the wiring, check all those things. Then if those things are still fine, even the spark plugs, if they're still fine, then he will decide to do a leakage test and a compression test to see if maybe the problem is the compression rings or the valves or the top gasket. You understand? So that's what I'm gonna do with you. You know, most we are hard workers, we don't do shortcuts. Then there's the smart one. The smart ones, mostly they're also lazy. They will take a diagnostic tool, plug it, check for fault codes, cylinder 1 and 2 misfire, swap around the coil packs, swap around the spark plugs. Then they will see which one. If the misfire moves from cylinder 1 to number 4, they know it's the coil pack or it's the spark plug or it's the injector, so and so. Then they do that thing with the guidance of the diagnostic tool. Ne? So don't worry, we are sharing everything. It's part of the plan. On this page we are sharing everything. So me and you currently, we are going to work hard on this car. But since someone made the owner buy the injectors and the coil packs, we are no longer going to do that. We are no longer going to inspect those things. So right now we are going to do a leakage test. But first we are going to start with the spark plugs. We are going to take out the spark plugs. Remember, I told you the spark plugs can show you what is happening in these 4 cylinders. You can just look at the spark plugs and they will tell you here, whatever is happening here is wrong, or there's an incomplete air fuel mixture and whatever. So we'll inspect the spark plugs, then we'll take it from there. If the spark plugs tells us that we have a system air leak or internal leak, then we do a compression test and we do a leakage test. You understand? So we are going to do that thing together. Remember, we are hard workers here. We don't just tell a person, we don't just do guesswork, or we tell a person, hey, go buy this, go buy that until the car is fixed. And the owner spent 25,000 instead of buying a new engine. So yeah, we are going to do an inspection here or diagnosis together. So we're going to start with we're going to take out the spark plugs, then check the spark plugs together. I also have all spark plugs. I will show you the difference between the spark plugs and this one. We're going to inspect them to see if they're the same. So if you know different colors, you know how to differentiate them. If we are having too much fuel, you will see on the spark plugs. If you are having lack of air or whatever, air fuel rich lean mixture or whatever, we'll see on the spark plugs. So let's check the spark plugs. The current tools I'm gonna use is this one for removing the spark plugs, the ratchet and number 16. So first I'm gonna remove the coil packs, and most people are not careful when removing the coil packs. They normally break those coil pack plugs. So I noticed there on cylinder 1, that one is already broken there. So also we're gonna do a visual inspection because I noticed the car is not boosting. So we're going to do a visual inspection because I noticed that also the PCV valve is also faulty because there's a lot of oil escaping to the turbo boost pipe or the throttle board, whatever. So yeah, and also there's wiring issues here, a bit of wiring issues. I saw a lot of wires are tampered with here. I'll show you. So here I had to remove the PCV valve and this breather pipe. As you can see here, it's already tampered with. Then the wiring also, yeah. And here I think is the reason why we're having boost issues, because I noticed this plug is also not in a good condition. But yeah, we'll check that later. And here's the thing I was telling you about. You see how they break the coil packs? They break these things when removing this one. So there's a tool made to extract the coil packs. If you don't know how to remove them or you don't have experience, there's a tool to remove the coil packs. So most people, they break this coil packs. Normally use this trick. You just put your fingers under this thing if you can, then you push up, then you'll see the coil pack will go up, you see, then you can remove it. As simple as that. So that's why I said mostly if you use experience, you'll never go wrong. But yeah, even us, when we started, we were breaking them. So yeah, so as you can see guys, I've shown you the spark plugs condition. This one, we have an air leak, internal air leak. This one is not that bad, and this one is not that bad also. This one is bad. And now I'm gonna show you how healthy spark plugs look like. A healthy spark plug from a healthy engine. You see, these ones are from the latest Mazda. See how healthy it is. Spark plugs are supposed to be like this. As you can see, all of them, they're the same. So now we are going to start with the compression test. Remember, just unplug the high pressure fuel pump so that we don't get fuel. Cylinder number 1. 77 psi. We've got 77 psi on cylinder number 1. So normally on this 4-cylinder engines, we are supposed to get 100 to 175 or 125 to 175 depending. So on cylinder number 2, we've got 76 psi, still low. Number 3, we are on 99 psi, which is still low but not that bad, like 1 and 2. 75 and 76. So on 3 we've got 99. Cylinder number 4 is bad. it's also bad. Cylinder number 4, we've got 75.5 or something like that, 75 psi. So guys, we've got the compression test. You saw number 1, 2 and 4, they are bad because they are around 75, 76 psi, which is low compression for a vehicle like this, for this engine. And number 3, we've got 100 psi, which is bad but not that bad. You understand? So normally we must get over 125 to 150, somewhere there on these 4-cylinder engines, but I think it depends on the power of the engine or something like that. So right now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna do a leakage test. I'm gonna listen to where the noise or where the air is escaping from. I'm gonna listen on the intake manifold, I'm gonna listen on the exhaust manifold, and I'm also gonna listen through the dipstick, and I'm gonna watch also on the coolant reservoir if there's bubbles, and also if I hear hissing noise from the intake manifold, it means we have intake valve leaks. If I listen through the exhaust manifolds and I hear hissing sound, it means we've got an exhaust valve leaks. You understand? If I listen through the dipstick and I hear bubbling noise, it means we've got piston ring issues. The piston rings are leaking. I stand to be corrected. You can comment there if I'm wrong. But if I listen through the dipstick and I hear that bubbly sound, it means the piston rings, the air is escaping through the piston rings going inside the sump, causing that bubbling sound, and also through the coolant reservoir. If there's bubbles there, it means the top gasket is also damaged. You understand? So I'll get my results from there. Let's check now. Remember, we are hardworking mechanics. We are not those ones who are smart using diagnostic tools that will tell them that there's a system air leakage or intake air leakage inside the internal leakage, whatever. And we are also not those ones who are using guesswork, diagnosing with the client's mind. No, here we diagnose, then we tell the client to buy. For leakage test, I'm going to use my compressor, and as you can see, this one is a leakage detector. As you can see, everything is clear here. I don't need to explain. I'm gonna put the piston number 1 on TDC. So that's, as you can see, on almost all the cylinders I'm getting. So guys, as we've seen, the car is not passing the compression test. It's having a low compression, and also it's not passing the cylinder leakage test. So now I'm gonna hand everything to you now. You can comment there and tell me what's the next move, or any area of improvement, or anything that I did wrong. You can just comment there. This page is about all that. Remember, never stop learning. So just comment there. I'll hand everything to you now. So our engine failed both the cylinder leakage test and the compression test, but now we cannot give the owner feedback yet. We must do further diagnosis. Remember, I showed you how to identify whether it's the valves or it's the top gasket, ne? So now we are going to identify whether the piston rings are having an issue. We are going to add a little bit of oil inside the cylinder and redo the compression test. If it increases, it means we are having piston ring issues. If it doesn't increase, it means we are having either the valves or the top gasket issue. And remember, these two, it's easy because we just have to remove the cylinder head, do the leakage test, replace the valves, and also this one is compulsory. You must change the top gasket. You understand? So these two, it's easy. The problem is if we are having piston ring issues, because it means we must remove the pistons now in order to change the rings. And in order to change the rings, we must also check the clearance inside the cylinders, whether the block is still fine. So let's hope it doesn't take us there. Let's do the last diagnosis so that we can give the owner proper feedback, not this thing of yours of guessing. So now I'm gonna add oil, then do the compression test. from 75 to 100. We are on 99 from 76. Still on 100. We are still on 100. This one also. I think it was 199 or something like that. But yeah, didn't increase. It's for the results. So you can just comment there and tell me, what do you think? Do you think we have piston ring issues? Or do you think we have valve leaks or top gasket leaks? Just comment there in the comment section. Let's enjoy the engagement.